Today we are going to talk about Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Before we start with the text, I would like to tell you something about sonnets, Shakespearean sonnets in general. He had written a total of 154 sonnets and they have been classified variously, and generally we believe that sonnets 1 to 17 are about procreating, 18 to 126 are addressed to a young man, 127 to 154 share the theme of a dark lady. Now, most of the sonnets deal with love, time, death, and immortality of the written word, which means inadequacy of the written word to describe his lover at times, and then generally he ends up saying that words will stay forever, and so his beloved will be immortalized in words. Now, here we have the text of the poem here. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? And you can just go through that. Here's the paraphrase for it. Now, talking about Sonnet 18, we can divide it into 3 quatrains and a couplet. Quatrains, 1 quatrain means 4 lines. So, you have 3 quatrains and a couplet. Shakespeare's first 12 lines have 3 alternating rhyming quatrains. The final couplet, that's the last 2 lines, are rhyming among themselves. It provides the conclusion to the sonnet, and the rhyme scheme of a Shakespearean sonnet always is AB AB, CD CD, EF EF, GG, and sonnet 18 also is no exception to this. Now let's take the first quatrain. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. The poem begins with a question. He asks a very rhetorical question. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? He asks, what shall I compare you to? Can I compare you to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely. But the beloved is more lovely than the summer's day. Summer, we are talking about the summer in England, which was supposed to be beautiful, pleasant, and more temperate. Now summer has extremes. Sometimes it gets too hot. Sometimes you have dry winds. But the beloved is not like that. The beloved is very restrained. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. When the beautiful flowers come up, the rough winds blow them down. And summer's lease hath all too short a date. And summer lasts for a very short time. The second quatrain. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. The eye of heaven refers to the sun. So sometimes the sun is very harsh, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. Many times it happens that the brightness of the sun is dimmed because of the clouds, and every fair from fair sometimes declines. Now in nature, that's the rule. Everything that is beautiful has to have the beauty dimmed with time. It does not stay beautiful forever by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. The beauty of things in nature will not continue forever. It will decline either by chance or because of nature itself. Nothing can remain unaffected by nature. Third quatrain. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. He says to his beloved that your summer is eternal. Your beautiful summer will continue forever, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. He says that beauty which you have, you will always have it with you. You will never lose possession of that. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. Death is personified here. Look at a capital D. So death will never be able to brag, will never be able to say that you wander in his shade. That is, you have died. Death will never be able to say this. When in eternal lines to time thou growest. Why will death never be able to brag about the beloved being wandering in the shade of death? Because in words, the beloved will never die. Words will make him eternal. The final couplet, which always ends the sonnet. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So he says, as long as men will breathe, as long as eyes will see, till that time, this poem shall live. And this poem, these words shall immortalize the beloved. Now I have this rhyme scheme brought here, and you can see the first line rhyming with the third, day, May, the second rhyming with the fourth, temperate, date. Again see shines, declines, dimmed, untrimmed, fade, shade, oest, rest, see and thee. The rhyme scheme is very clear: A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, G G. Now, if we look at the themes in Sonnet 18, the first theme is admiration and love, which is illustrated by the poetic persona by juxtaposing summer's day limitations to the efficiencies of his object of admiration. So, summer day has its limitation, the beloved has no limitations. Nature's cruelty, harshness of summer by highlighting the hotness of the sun and the destructive wind of summer. Nature is cruel. Sun is very harsh. The winds in summer is very strong, it's destructive. Death brings limitation. Death limits people's glamour. The eternal nature of written text, the poetic persona clearly illustrates that his object of admiration will live on as long as the poem survives. Why? Because words are immortal. To elaborate, the theme of Shakespeare's Sonnet 18 is that his lover is more beautiful and desirable than a summer's day, because even such a wonderful season like summer has its drawbacks. It's too short, sometimes too hot. Besides, it cannot continue throughout the year, but his love lasts forever. He concludes by saying that he wishes to immortalize forever the beauty of his lover in poetry. Now, if we look at the poetic devices that have been used here, the poem begins with a rhetorical question, as I said. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? You have personification when we are talking about death. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. You have a metaphor. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines. Eye of heaven is the sun. The seeing ability of the eye is compared to the shining ability of the sun. Also, in the poem, love and beauty are compared to summer. That's eternal summer. Imagery. The poem is embellished with images laced in lyrics of romance like eyes, gold complexion, buds, hotness, etc. Repetition. The words fair and summer are repeated in the poem often. Now, there is a use of an extended metaphor. The entire poem is an extended metaphor comparing a summer's day to the beloved's eternal beauty. First quatrain, she is better than a summer's day because she is more lovely and temperate. In lines 3 and 4, Shakespeare emphasizes how summer will end but his love is unending. Quatrain 2, Shakespeare compares the ever-changing seasons with his lover's unchanging beauty. Quatrain 3, Shakespeare says his lover's beauty will never fade. His love for her is eternal. So this is an extended metaphor. Now, if you have got any questions with regard to sonnet number 18, please put it down in the segment given below and I shall do my best to answer them. Thank you.